Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to Space Chick Crypto. I cannot wait to talk more about Mr. Jin right now. We're going to go ahead and see him, the man, here in just a second. But first, I want to tell y'all, if you're not following me on Twitter, go ahead and do so. And also check out all the official Mr. Jin links down in the description box below. But we're going to pull up all the sites. If you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to ask in the chat. But here is the one and only Mr. Jin. Hi, Mr.
Hello.
Jin. How are you doing?
Not bad. How are you? How are you doing? I think we may have lost the host.
Oh, okay, there we go. Is that okay, everybody? It's not even snowing. It's not even snowing here in Texas. It's like 45 degrees and nothing knows how to act. Nobody knows how to drive. Look, the internet connection's even freaking out. Sorry, Mr. Jin.
No problem. How are you?
Good. How are you? You're wearing a sweatshirt. I'm wearing a sweatshirt. We've been knowing each other for a minute. You've had a lot of stuff going on. So I can't wait to hear more about what's been going on. But first, we have a guest. We have somebody at the doorbell. We got to invite him in. Are you ready? We got Chaka Crypto. What's
Hey.
up, dude?
How's it going? What's up, Space Chick?
Good. How are you? How are you guys? I'm so glad you're here in the space cabin.
I definitely had to make the Mr. Jin. Had to be here for Mr. Jin.
Heck yeah, for sure. I know. I'm excited to find out what he's been up to. Last time he was here, he was at a place for restaurants and hotels, and I mean, you were going off about all of that. So please, how did all that turn out? What was the aftermath of your visit over there? What was that called again? I'm trying to remember what it was called.
It was the European Hotel Forum in Portugal.
There we go. See, in Portugal. How was your trip in Portugal? Whenever you got back, how was it?
It was really good, actually. It's been very beneficial. In fact, I've got a few notes here in front of me, and I'm already starting to jump up and down on my notes. In fact, it's so beneficial. I'm going back in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah. There's obviously been it's been hard work. I'm not going to lie and say it hasn't. It has been, but it's definitely been worth it. There's a few. I did clear it with a couple of people that are starting soon, or have just started with purchases and stuff. So I've cleared it. I can mention a few names, so that'll be good. In terms of a few up and coming little groups of steakhouses as well as hotel chains in London. So it's been eventful, to say the least. As a lot of people that would be in here should be aware that I'm a very simple pub landlord that has decided to take on the world of gin. So it's not a learning curve, but it's a curve for me the first time round as well. And no, that's not gin in a bottle of water.
Are you sure? Because I mean, I have mine in here. I don't know. I mean, we might as well. I mean, look, it's so nice and cold. No, I'm joking. We have to say hi to some people in the chat we have here really quick, Mr. Jin. They are big fans of yours for sure. We have Jen Token. You met her. And then what's up, lady? How are you? Westside Ian, what's up, dude? Thanks so much for coming on through. Tim says, got my first reward, $7.16 for one NFT just for holding it. So that's cool. And then, of course, we have Stevie Crypto here. Stevie, love you, Stevie. So, yeah, we're going to jump into those rewards here in just a second. But wanted to say shout out to y'all for coming on through to see Mr. Jin. And if y'all have any questions, drop them in the chat. All right, Mr. Jin, carry on.
Okay. I think the NFT rewards might be actually a good place to start as it goes. It's top of our list. So um, basically, there's the initial payout. I did mention to everybody it's a short week payout. It's only a 10-week payout instead of a 12 or 12 and a half. Otherwise, people are going to be ending up waiting 5-6 months for their first payout, which isn't something we wanted to do. As was mentioned there, $7.16 for a 10-week payout on an NFT. Gist of it is over 10 weeks we sold 2,864 bottles in 10 weeks.
Wow.
And obviously this, you've got to remember that this is from our first start. So it's when we're still building up our trade and our market. This hasn't actually, there's been not a single one of these sales has been reflected in the through the sales from the hotel forum or anything along those lines. In fact, David, who'll come on to a bit later on, he along with Global and Empire Drinks have been working in the background. Even anything they've been doing hasn't even been incorporated into this yet. This is just quite literally us from day dot on the feet on the ground, just out selling. It's basically equated to 10.04% APR on the investment per NFT, so just over 10% a year return for holding the NFTs. And it's personally, I wanted a lot more, but
Okay.
and I think it would have been a lot more if NFTs would have been sold out a lot sooner. So I think that did stump the growth of it slightly because it didn't allow us to progress in the time frame we'd liked. But in return, there's also the fact that we have been running through some issues with OpenSea, which we'll come on to in a minute anyway. With regards to the sales of the NFTs, might as well get all the dirty stuff out first. It's the best way to do it.
Really, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Well, no, it was just I mean, because this was open.
I think she froze a little bit.
Yeah.
I think though you were hoping to get more than the 10%, but you're not. What I'm thinking of is we were getting 10%. You delivered on the NFT. That's the big deal. You never really came up with the amount, so I'm happy with the 10-week payout because you delivered on that, even with the problems that you guys were having. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah. See, thing is, it's what's happened is
Mr. Jin, we're back. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I felt so bad. I was like, no. We've been waiting for a long time, y'all, to talk. Okay, we're back on, everybody. We're back on. Okay. So Chaka, yeah, feel free, come on back, same link. But okay, yeah, continue where you left off. No worries. I feel like you delivered the rewards like you said you would. They came through. I got mine. Tim got his. I mean, what else is going on?
I don't know. We feel you should have. We feel you should have got more. Let's just say that. Let's just put it that way. We feel that people should have got more, but again, it's all about the growth. There are a few things that are, and he's back. There are a few things in the pipeline that timelines had to be changed a bit. It's all internal stuff that would have pushed sales along further. It's, for example, if the NFTs would have sold out, our sales team would have gone up by another 2. But we're hoping within the next 2 weeks we're going to get an additional sales team, at least 1 additional sales team member on board.
Nice.
Possibly 2 by the end of next month. So 1 mid-month, 1 end of next month as well. But all that would have happened beforehand if NFTs would have sold, in which in turn it would have actually increased sales, would have given more dividends. That was the whole idea. But either way, it's a 30-40 day delay on what we were expecting. So the next one should just be that much better, because not only will we have a full 12-week period, we should have additional sales as well.
Nice.
Yeah. The elephant in the room is obviously OpenSea. And basic gist of it is OpenSea is a US-based company that wishes, and it's completely understandable, to abide by US laws, irrespective of whether we are using it in Europe and UK. We are based out of the UK. We are following all guidelines that are required within the UK. They are following theirs, which we understand. So for that reason, because we've used OpenSea to create an OpenSea code to create the NFTs, they have frozen them, and so they've been suspended from trading. So they're not currently tradable.
Is that forever? It's going to be like that, or are y'all still trying?
It's something that we've kind of hit a brick wall with. We can't seem to work a way around it. So what we've done is we are confident that we've covered all legal requirements. So we on our website have basically we are looking at alternatives that are possibly other entities that are US based that we can have a dialogue with and we can explain to them. Also, other entities who are not US based, so the SEC and US law doesn't apply to them either. So we're looking at a couple of alternatives. But until then, what we've gone and done is we've gone and taken our NFTs and moved them onto our website directly. So we are it's basically like a shopping cart. You can buy with fiat, you can buy with Ethereum or Bitcoin off the Smiling Pub Company website. The way the process works is you quite simply put in your basket, you pay for your NFTs. Again, it's a UK based company, so there are UK laws and taxes that apply, because it's no longer a purchase on the web, on the blockchain. So there is VAT added to the cost of the NFT, because we are a VAT registered company and it's a tax that we have to pay. We want to make sure that we abide by whatever legal law we have to. For that reason, it's quite simply available on the website. Once it's been purchased, you generally within a 24 to 48 hour period receive a email saying thank you for your purchase, and we ask you to fill in a form where you can register your wallet, so all your dividends, or sorry, all your payments get paid into that again through USDC. Until we don't sort out the alternative, it's the only way we've thought that where we can actually carry on selling NFTs, because on our end we've had a fair amount of interest. In fact, there's been interest just this morning, yesterday and this morning from Portugal, a couple of the companies that we're talking that wanted to get into the NFTs as well. So the interest is there on our end, but we just don't feel that hitting our heads against a brick wall with OpenSea is the solution anymore. So until we don't find an alternative, this is our way of just continuing on raising capital, as well as paying returns for those who are helping us progress further.
The website, you have it set up nicely. I mean, direct bank transfers, cryptocurrency, and credit cards or debit cards are the options. That's anything you can, any way to buy. You can use anything to buy these now. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's So if you've got the click here now for the buy your NFT, it should actually literally take you straight to the shopping cart, where it's pretty much the NFT purchase is pretty much like as if you're buying a bottle of gin. Add it to your cart and buy.
It is right there.
I do have a question, because I'm over here in California and in the US, and I can't buy a bottle of gin because I can't buy it from the website. It won't let me. Is there going to be any issues with the NFT because it's not from here and it's coming from the website? Will there be any issues on that?
No, because what's happening is you're quite literally just doing you cannot buy a bottle of gin because we cannot legally get it to you until we don't have an importer in place in the US.
Okay.
There is never that issue with a JPEG or an MP4. That can quite simply be transferred over once we have our thing set up on our end. So even again, I know we've got a new set of NFTs, because the new David Arnott editions were done through OpenSea. So that whole thing will happen again. We're hoping this time a final version whereby it'll be a completely new set. Whoever's holding them will get them, and whoever buys from here on forward will also get them. It's basically just an ongoing list that's being built. And once we have our solution, because we don't want to be doing it over and over again, we want to find a final solution and then just send them out correctly in one go, which is why we've gone away from OpenSea, and we're looking at quite extensively looking at alternatives to US platforms.
Mm-hmm. There are other ones. I mean, and you're continuing to do it. To sell them on your website. The only thing is how are people going to know to buy them there? What are your plans on continuing to market them? I know you went to Portugal and you talked to people about it there, but I think that they can sell, like all of them, every single one of them, especially with, the returns that people will get. Okay. And so how do you plan on pushing this out there?
There's a few amazing people I know, i.e. Space Chick, Chaka, 2-Bit, and they're going to be pushing it like crazy for me.
We love you, Mr. Jen.
Look, for me, I'm very much of the mindset to think long term. As much as a lot of people want to be out there and sell fast, make quick money, it's not the way I operate. It's not the way I want the brand to operate, and it's definitely not the way I want any of my colleagues or anybody who works for me to operate. It's always been about getting the right people on board, and I understand that does sometimes cause frustration, and it does sometimes cause a delay, like it has done in this point where the dividends which was less than what I expected, but I could justify it to myself for the simple reason that at least I know we're getting the right holders on board. and that's important to me. That's more important than the funds coming in.
Like people understanding what's going on.
Yeah, and that's why I've always been. Currently, I've been excessively overworked, and I may be not replying as quickly as I used to in the Telegram group, but I do try to get there as much as I can. And if anybody has any questions, then they've either DM me privately. I've answered pretty much every single person that I've had a question from. And if I've ever been put in a position where I don't know the answer, my genuine response is, I currently don't know. Let me find out and get back to you. And even they have been answered. It's always better, to be honest, and rather than try to make stuff up. It doesn't work. And
I agree.
It doesn't work. More importantly, I mean, the person that's shown me interest from Portugal understands completely that I don't sell gin. I'm not in the market to sell gin. I am in the market to build a brand and then one day sell it for the right amount. And that way, everybody gets dividends. Everybody gets a long-term benefit, and everybody gets a chunk of money at the end when it's sold. It's not about a short-term sell. If you want to be a short-term sell, it could be a lot cheaper. I say a lot cheaper, but relatively cheaper. Make a little bit of money, and just do high volumes. That's not what we want.
Mr. Jin, I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. There's a good question that we have from someone here in the space cabin. Since sorry, I can't pronounce that. JJ, I think you did that on purpose, so I would have a hard time. I don't know. Since we can no longer able to buy or sell these NFTs on OpenSea anymore, are you offering any buybacks?
We're working on an alternative to OpenSea, so you will be able to get onto a platform. This is it being on our website is and you never know, it might become the end solution and we may do a buyback. It is quite possible, but as it stands, we're looking at alternatives, so it will be able to be listed on other platforms for people to be able to trade.
It can be on, like, so if we'll say this person wants to go and just sell theirs right now, they can go on OpenSea, or no, right? They can't go on OpenSea, but they can go other places.
To be honest, I haven't tried. I would assume it can't, because we've been given information that because we've used the OpenSea code to make the NFTs, they have frozen trading of the NFTs. So I don't think they would currently be able to trade it or swap it or sell it back. I would assume but as soon as the alternative NFT comes out that they'll be getting, that will be on a completely new platform, and touch wood, it won't be a US based one, so we won't be having this SEC issue. Because it's just kind of disappointing, the fact that we're having to deal with US laws, even though we have nothing currently as it stands to do with the US market.
That would be super frustrating. And don't worry, Mr. Jin, OpenSea is frustrating for a lot of projects. That's why some people call it Broken Sea, not OpenSea. This is another good question. Also, where do you see the value of the first set of NFTs in a year? You're coming with some fire questions. Let's go. Awesome.
I'd say, honest answer, you need to flip a coin and find out, because if they've all sold out, there'd be a reason why. People will be seeing dividends, and then there would be a demand for it. Honestly, it's a question. It's a very good question, but it's a question that only the market can dictate. I know that there's been a few people that wanted to buy a few people put their NFTs for some reason. They bought it at 0.2, put them at 1.9, and they got bought up. So whoever that person was, they've put it down ever so slightly. And what was the strangest thing for me is they put it at 1.9. I think it happened 3 times, and it got bought out 2 or 3 times, and it got bought out 2, 3 times, and it was all within a week or 10 days of the actual snapshot. So they actually didn't get anything for it, which didn't make sense to me. But whoever bought it, they've obviously reaped the benefit of it. Even though there may be a 0.01%, it was still, they bought it cheaper than the market. So there is a demand for it. It's just sorting this OpenSea/Broken Sea issue to be able to get beyond it, to be able to trade. Where do I see the price? In a year's time, if I'm not going to say a year, I'm going to say in 18 months' time, if the market is where I think it's going to be, if we as a business are going to be where we're going to be, in about a year and a half's time, I wouldn't hesitate to be. I would personally wouldn't hesitate to buy back at double the value.
Wow, those are some big words, Mr. Jin.
If what we have down going in the pipeline, and it's a lot, if that happens, then it makes sense for me. Obviously, I would want to negotiate what I'm buying, but it would make sense for me to buy it back, not to pay the dividends out of my company's profit. And that's the honest truth. I could either take the hit one time, pay double the money back, or I could end up paying a lot more in the long run every quarter. It's a catch where would you pay somebody double the money back if I offered you the option that here's $1,000, you've got a year and a half to give me 2,000 back, or you have to pay me $700-800 back every year for the next 20 years. What would you rather do?
I want the second option. I mean, that's smart. That's smart on your end, because the gas fees, right, Chaka?
Yeah.
Like what would be coming up in this bull run? It's insane, the gas fees. From what I'm hearing, it's going to be gnarly.
Yeah.
I can see him up there just like it was last time, the last bull run, paying $240 for gas fees.
Gosh.
Yeah. That's going to be, when that happens, that will be a. See, thing is, it's we know a bull run is, or we don't know anything, but we can safely assume a bull run is inevitable, and we can kind of predict the timeline. But realistically, we don't know how that's going to affect the NFT market, and that's a fact. We know how it will affect crypto, and we know affect how trading, but we don't know how it will affect the NFT market. One thing that I know that can affect.
It's nice to see that you guys are still, with the hurdles going on with OpenSea, and those hurdles right there, you're still managed to give the community, their what is it, the 10-week payout. So that's good to see, and you're already looking for an alternative for OpenSea. That's great to hear. It's not just. I'm glad that we're not just hearing, OpenSea. I don't know what to tell you, but that's really cool that you guys are already going towards an alternative and making something happen.
But this was always the plus side for this project, that it was never reliant on trading and buying and selling. There was always an alternative revenue, and this is what a lot of people initially didn't understand, that even if OpenSea shut us down, at the end of the day, if we put our hand up today and said, we don't need any more money, we're not going to sell any more NFTs, those who have it, they'll be getting their dividends, you holders would be the happiest people alive, because you're dividing up the percentage between just the 346 of you.
Nice.
It wouldn't ever divide over 1,000 because we wouldn't need to sell anymore. But then
Yeah.
that's also a benefit for me in the long run, because that means down the line I just need to buy 346 back. I don't need to buy 1,000 back.
Yeah. You're like, I'm done. Forget this NFTs. I'm done with these people. I'm breaking up with all of them.
but see, and then this is it. It's never been about we have to sell these because we need the money to do that. And this has always been the benefit of it, that we're never relying on it. Yes, up to a certain extent we rely on OpenSea, but we don't, because as you've seen, I could quite simply just leave it on our website. People buy off of there, we get them to register their wallet, and they get paid every 3 months. Honestly, it could just be left like that, and that would be the end of it. People would still get their dividends, but it's not what we promised. And this is where my issue is. We promised an NFT which you could get a return on, you could trade, we would hope it will grow in value, and the only way we can do that is by applying it to a trading platform. So we're trying to do, and this is where the disheartening part, all we're trying to do is keep to our word, and it's just been made so difficult to do by third parties. So now we're just looking for an alternative. So and like I said, as for the value, it's absolutely anything may be possible. And like I was saying, the bull run may cause a $50, $60, $70, $80,000 Bitcoin, $100,000 Bitcoin, but that may not change a single cent in the value of an NFT. We don't know that. The only thing we know that can change the value of the NFT is how much it brings in return. So if like this project, if there are projects out there that have utility and they have functionality and they have a return for their investors, they will thrive and they will grow and they will survive as NFT projects. There is no doubt in my mind about that. It's one part of this whole blockchain Web3 integration that I believe will. And I'm sorry, this just makes me it makes me angry, but it also makes me so much more determined. That if some governing body somewhere in the world, nothing to do with us, can cause this much effect, there has to be an alternative way around. I'm not talking about a dodgy one, but a legitimate one. There has to be a loophole. If people can go and spend their whole life earning millions by collecting shares rather than collecting wages and not pay taxes and call it legal, then there has to be loopholes in place. It can't just be that the elite few get richer and richer and everybody else gets put to the side. It can't exist. There has to be an alternative. And that's what we're working on.
Well, you can tell, Mr. Jin, you're very upset, very passionate, and you've been working at it. You can tell, right, Chaka? He's not taking this lightly. I like that you're not laying down and letting it go by either, and you still have them up on the website, and you're still pushing it, and you have plans if, it all, just doesn't pan out also, and with the buyback. So that's something that you are considering doing if things don't pan out in a year or so. And I think they will. My personal opinion, I think they will, but I'm just asking you, just for the chat.
It's something that it's something that has crossed my mind. It's something that won't be a case of in a year 346 people come and say, now give me double my money. But it's something that as the company grows and like I said, I don't, my reputation is everything to me. I don't want to be in a position where somebody can turn around and say that guy or that brand or that name or that person basically done me wrong. And for that reason, if the time comes and I'm in a position to buy them back, I will. There's not a doubt in my mind about it. Because for me, before like I said, I put in hundreds of thousands before these NFTs came out. If somebody's going to lose $300, $400, $500, $1,000, $2,000, I'm not saying it's not a lot of money. It is, but I will lose a lot more, which I can't afford to do. My family, my wife, my children, my livelihood depends on it. So if I have to work harder, I'll work harder. And to give the people that have entrusted me with their money that much more peace of mind that when I have the position to do so, and I may be able to put around, I've even thought maybe down the line, when I have the ability, I might put around in saying, let's start off with 20 NFTs. I can do a buyback at this much percentage plus what you on your initial investment. So you're getting your money back plus another 10%, 20% plus whatever dividends you had at that time. Whatever it may be, the math has to be worked out. And if it does work out, and if I can, I will buy them back. Because I don't, like I said, for me, I don't want any person to ever turn around and say, he done me wrong. My name is worth more than that.
I like that.
That's nice.
Yeah, I know. I like that about him, Chaka, right? I mean, he's been here. We've talked to him in AMAs before. Like you are walking the walk. I will tell you that. You really have said everything you've said you're going to do, you've done. And you've even delivered even more, going to Portugal and getting, reps together so that they can go out to different hotels and share your product. And you're not just sitting there on your hands. You're not just sitting there. So I do appreciate that. And we see a lot of scammers out here. We see a lot of devs out here that like to just take money and run off. Chaka brought up a good point. I like that you're doing something and you actually, we like that you delivered on what you said you were going to, because we are used to that out here, sadly, in the space. Like, okay, forget it, whatever, y'all just deal with it. But
yeah, that's why it's refreshing to hear that. It's refreshing to hear that we still got the dividend, or we still got that 10-week payout. Everybody who owns an NFT still got that. Now, knowing all the hurdles that you had to jump through, that just makes it even. That's good. That's a solid. I like that. I like to hear that. That's really, and I'm sure everybody that owns an NFT likes to hear that. That you're still moving forward no matter what.
Yeah, look, David says, what's up, David? Mr. Jin 2024. Big things are coming. That's right. Wait, is that David or not?
I get scared when David says that.
David, what's up, David? I know. I have good things are coming for sure. There's no way. That has to be David or not. Everybody go check him out. I did a video. Super cool guy. You got to see it. But I mean, he's even partnered with David. Like he's a fine artist. He's signed by he is signed by the biggest gallery in the world. This is quality that we're working with here. I mean, I always have to bring that up because you're not just, some guy making gin or, moonshine in the backyard. There's nothing wrong with that, anybody. But I'm just saying, you got beautiful gift sets, bottles. You've been out marketing, networking. So I think you're doing a phenomenal job. I think you're doing great. Chaka, what you got?
Oh, David or not. And then the no nonsense reviews are great. Those are great. Every single one. He did all three of the different flavors. If you haven't seen the no nonsense Mr. Jin reviews, you got to go check him out, because that dude just every time I could watch the whole video. Dude, he cracks me up.
That dude is funny. Hold on, y'all. Y'all got to check these out. And Jin Token loves to tell people to check him out too, because he's just great. And you can tell it's a true reaction. He's not going to hide it. That's for sure. This dude could not hide it. If he likes it, he likes it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But y'all got to go check these out.
Yeah.
Is that somebody is that somebody you know? That do you know no nonsense? No. Okay.
No. He basically, from what we understand, he just bought them off our website as a part of his channel, and he just done a review on them. So we didn't know him. Since then we have got to know him because we have introduced ourselves to him, and in fact there's on our pages there's a HRC Mixologist of the Year competition, and No Nonsense is actually going to be one of our judges at the Mr. Gin Mixologist of the Year competition, because the final is held at the Excel in London. And it's a 3-day event where they get about 30 to 35,000 people, and it's the finals on the main stage where they probably expect somewhere between 8 to 10,000 people on the day.
Wow, you guys definitely got to get some footage of that to show. That sounds like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. That should be. And again, I mean, it's like I said, there's ways around when it is the hotel, restaurant, catering group. They can't, obviously they can never promote one product or one company over another. They're part. It's a brand after the Montgomery Group. It's a big group, but because we have the Mr. Gin Mixologist of the Year competition, they promote it and mail shot it to their 250,000 subscribers, which are majority of it is corporate. And I mean, I found out that they'd done a mail shot because the European business manager for Schweppes messaged me saying, "I've just received this, take a look." And that's how I found out that I didn't even know they'd done it till Schweppes contacted him and told me we received this, by the way.
Wow. So
it's definitely there in people's inboxes if they take a look. And if Schweppes can turn around and say, "Look, we got this, congratulations," then it says a lot about the reach that they have as a company. I'm going to touch base slightly with something that's happened out of the Portugal event. One of the meetings I had was Imperial Hotels, based in London. They have currently running 6 hotels. They have 7 hotels in London, currently 6 or 4 or 5 stars. Pubs, restaurants, bars, all within a half-a-mile radius. I have checked, and they are okay for me to let. On the 9th of November, I'm going to be going to one of their sites where we're going to be basically with all the food and beverage managers, a lot of the front of house staff, training them and giving them product knowledge, because it's something that they will be stocking across their range, across their set. Just for the scale, one of their hotels is in refurbishment, so that's not included in this, but on the other 6, 4,700 bedrooms within half a mile. So relatively big venues, big sites in central London, all within walking distance of each other. So they pretty much hold a monopoly in a specific area. And the best thing is it's not that far from the Savoy. It's not that far from Peninsula. There's a few big things around. So if it drops into, I think there's 6 and 17 sites. So if that brand drops into 17 sites instantly, people will start inquiring around and kind of hoping that the right hotels around it as well follow suit.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be the Mr. Gin strip right there, with those 7 hotels in that small radius.
Yeah, I mean, it's
totally.
Locations wise, it's perfect because it's one drop off a week, and you can quite literally go all of them back to back, one after the other. It means you spend less money getting the deliveries out.
Just put it on the street. Everybody will come. Build it and they will come. Just leave it there. Oh my goodness. I have a question about this mixologist competition, because I had a friend ask me, like, oh, wait a second, her sister's into this mixing and bartending and everything, and she asked me a very good question. She said, well, does he plan on doing this again, or all over the world? Will he ever come to the US again, or Canada, or different places to do competitions like this?
I love the way you ask questions, and you always seem to get that one bit of alpha that I'm not supposed to be giving out. I love the way this works.
Come on,
It's
I
like,
know. I mean, we do this for a living, right, Chaka? Pretty much.
so I mean, there is on my part, there is. I'd never looked at mixologist competitions anywhere else in the world. It's not something that we were looking at because we're quite dedicated to the HLC because they've given us our big break and they gave us our contact with Schweppes and they've helped us get to where we are. However, there is another global cocktail and mixologist competition going on globally, and they have approached us. I don't know where it's going to lead. I don't know what's going to happen. We are still going to be doing our thing with HLC, but there's nothing to say we can't simultaneously be running multiple competitions with multiple prizes and multiple venues and multiple locations. But it's not something we looked into doing, but we did end up getting approached by somebody, and the possibility of collaborating as a primary product within their competition range.
Well, I know there's a mixologist competition in Los Angeles. That would be awesome if they reached out to you.
I'm not quite. Thing is, it's not on a national level competition. It's actually an international competition where you have representatives of countries turning up, and it's basically like a global battle. That's what they're creating.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's just come out, and that's something that's actually been worked on in the pipeline for maybe about 3 weeks, 4 weeks now. So it's relatively new. Like I said, we don't know how far it's going to go. We don't know where it's going to go. But as we've always said, we don't want to be there. We want to be there. And to get there, that's what you have to do. But that's why collaborations with David, because you just look at his work, it's there. It's above there. It's there. You look at what Empire and Global bring to the table, it's there. Yeah. There's a lot going on. It's about strategically placing yourself with the right people, with the right brands at the right place. Yeah, so that's one of the positives that definitely did come out of the Portugal trip. One of a few. There are a few other conversations still going on, very early days, but this one it's like I said, 9th of November. We're pretty much giving the staff training and product knowledge to then start implementing where we have to go. There was and it's worked out so well that on the 12th of November, I fly back out to Portugal. To finalize a few meetings with a few distributors, because like I said, Learning Hub, while we were out in Portugal, we did get that group of hotels that are very interested in the product. They want to get things moving and ready for kind of a big launch in summer. So it may not be an immediate sell, but they want to start looking at brand collaborating. They want to look at Mr. Gin specific cocktail menus at the bars, Mr. Gin related products, items, exposure, branding, everything that could go with it. And as you always have, everybody always forgets something. I forgot one very important detail. I've got the customer, but the problem is I don't have anybody that can import it to Portugal. So now we've got meetings and we're trying to get organized importers and distributors. It should be an easier task, providing all the terms can be agreed, because we have the product and we are pretty much giving them the customers. All they need to do is be the middle agent.
Oh, okay. I wasn't quite sure how that worked. I don't know that process. I've never been in sales or anything like that.
See, where the issue, which I didn't think of at the time, is it's amazing to get 3 hotel chains with 56, 57 hotels want to buy your product, but they cannot physically buy a pallet of each, 2 pallets of each on a weekly or 2-weekly basis. One, because they then have to have the infrastructure to divide it amongst all their sites, and 2, they don't have the licenses to import it. So you need to find the local importer that can import it for them, take their cut on it, and then forward it to them for doing the work.
And
so
then distribute it amongst all the other places.
Yeah, and then I mean, there is a particular distributor out there that we would love to meet and talk to. I don't think we will get there because I think they're just too big, too busy. But that doesn't mean, and in all honesty, if we got there, we probably wouldn't be selling pallets out. We'd be sending containers out. But if, like anything, it's the slow burn. If they're too big for us, then we'll go to the next guy down, or if not, the guy up below that down. As long as we can supply our 50-odd hotels that we need to, and we get our name out there in a specific area, i.e. the Algarve, that would then expand. And then obviously he's got the product there. He's not only going to give it to them, he'll give it to his customers, and you can build up that way.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's never been about the immediate sale. It's about making sure that the product's in the right place. You don't want it in the corner shop when you're ideally trying to get it into a 5-star hotel.
Now, when you get the distributor and you take care of all that and everything's distributed, do you have any plans for marketing to push people to those hotels? Is there any talks of how, any marketing that's going to be going on? Is the hotel going to be talking about it, or is that
this is where the reason I'm going on the 12th, because the meeting I'm supposed to go is between 14th to 17th. I'm going on the 12th. I won't be back till the 21st, 22nd. I've left myself a few days before, a few days after, to go and, one, see if I can sort things out with the distributor and importer, and secondly, to sit down with a few of the hotels or the main people from the hotels, that how do we want to progress with the brand development within Portugal. And we can just take it from there to see how it works.
That's pretty exciting to hear about. Like that. That's exciting I'm just picturing in my head that sounds pretty huge.
Yeah, like I said, it is. Don't get me wrong, it is. But for me, the excitement is when it's there and it's running and you can see it. Yeah. For me, the sense of achievement, everything up until that point, don't get me wrong, it's brilliant, it's amazing. But for me, when we get to that point where you can go into a random hotel and you see your product behind the bar, that's the achievement. When I left the Ria Park, we had to check out on the Friday morning. So before we checked out, went for a coffee to the bar. As I'm walking up to the bar, I think they've probably employed, I don't know, it might have been 18, 17, 19 year old, which is legal, that's fine. Probably as a trainee or something along those lines. And I'm still in the lobby walking up to the bar, and Hey, Mr. Jin. I thought, oh my
Oh, that's
God,
cool.
already? You only met me yesterday, son. God. And yeah, but and that makes me happy. That that it's not vanity, but it's just recognition of hard work.
Hmm.
That to me is the proud moment. It's when I mean everyone who's involved in it has a part to play in it, but for me, it's all about when the distributor actually orders and he gets that first delivery. It may sound really crazy, but I'd love to be the first person there to help him offload that truck and say, okay, you should put this one here. What do you think about this? It's that hands-on approach, not worrying about getting your hands dirty and actually doing something with it.
Yeah.
That to me is the moment, kind of thing.
I have a couple questions for you, Mr. Jin.
Yep.
First of all, Army veteran, it's so good to see you here in the space cabin, sir. Happy Halloween to you. So glad to see you. It's been a minute. Jin Token says, are you popping into the NFT mega space tomorrow night? Now, I know the Vault of Dragons were having NFT mega space tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Time. I know it's kind of late for you. Are you going to be able to make it, or send one of somebody out there?
6 p.m. What is that? What is that in GMT?
What is that, an alien time over there,
Yeah.
Mr. Jin? I have no idea. I can barely get Eastern time and Pacific time right. No, I think I got Eastern time now, but Pacific time.
I will have to let you know.
Okay.
Because tomorrow's that one night where I promised the wife that we will go and watch a movie. So
Oh.
I actually have. I was supposed to do it tonight, but I was just like, no, she's priority. Space Chick is priority. Sorry, darling.
Your wife's gonna
And
hate
then,
me. She's
and
gonna be
then I
like,
got,
"Who is
and then
this
I,
space
and then I
chick?"
got Jack as a bonus. It was brilliant.
Hey, I feel you on that one.
Tomorrow you have
I
a
actually,
date.
me and the wife, all the kids are at school, so me and her are actually home today by ourselves. And I seen that this came up, and I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I?" Oh no, go ahead. I was like, "Good," because if she said no, I wouldn't be here.
Hey, smart guys, smart guys. You guys are funny. I love it. I love it. But this right here, man, JJ, I hope I'm probably not saying it right. I hope you subscribe to the channel, because I really like all the everything that you're bringing to the table here in this chat. I'm loving it. Keep it coming. With all the problems with the NFTs, how about this? You, the team, hold, let's say, 100 NFTs that you collect the dividends, and that's what you basically turn into cash flow for growing the business. That way you don't have to launch more rounds of new NFTs.
The NFTs have multiple use. First one is it allows holders to promote what we put out on socials, because obviously everybody has a vested interest in the company and the project being successful. Also, the other reason we do this is because we offer out we have a certain allocation of NFTs out of the 1,000. It's not on top of the 1,000; it's out of the 1,000 that we hold, which we use to offer out to people who are financially growing the business. I.e., we could quite easily. There is now I'm using the names in this and the values as complete hypotheticals and examples at this point. I want to make that very clear, because this isn't these companies, or this isn't the values that we're talking about. There's a company in the UK called, I just say XYZ, it's better that way, and they have a listing fee. They can get us out there to. They have a client base of almost 180,000 outlets, out of which our specific target maybe about 20 to 22,000 outlets. Now they can get our product in front of them via a £14,000 listing fee. That's about $19,000 listing fee. And then if you at $2,000 a month for 3 months, take out an advert in their magazine, and they can push your product out to their people. So we could quite easily burn through by the end of it, and along with a couple of other things and a write-up and so on and so forth, we could burn through $35, $40, $50,000 just to list a product. The alternative is sit down with the decision maker as the person responsible for the business, and we know this is what you do, we know this is what you charge, but why don't we pay you 20% of what you're asking for as your logistical cost, and maybe we can give you 20 NFTs or 30 NFTs, and this is how they work and this is what they do. So the idea of the NFTs isn't necessarily just to cash build. The idea is also to how, and like I said earlier, it's about how to get the right people holding the right NFTs. If you had somebody with what would be classed as a A-list celebrity status holding an NFT, what difference would that make to the promotional value that would come to your NFT or your product as a whole? A prime example of that is oh, sorry, my mind's gone blank. Ryan Reynolds, because he had his own gin, and aviation gin. He held it. He bought into it, ran the company, ran it for what, 3 years, and he walked away with what, $200-300 million. It's about getting the right people, and we're not saying that we want to go down the celebrity status route. We don't. Well, we're not saying we don't. We're not saying we do. But we need to make sure it's the right people that are holding the right places at the right time for what we plan for a long-term vision. When I say Mr. Jin, the question should be, who do I envisage as Mr. Jin? Who's the person that I think is correct for that bottle? It may be a celebrity, may not. It's just so the NFTs are. It's I understand where you're going, and again, to use the NFTs to collect the dividends, it only works. You've taken the margin that's it's not fair. If the dividend, the NFTs that I hold and I give away, I've paid for. It's not right for me to then take out 200 NFTs, hold them to the side, so that we can then use the revenue to fund our business. Then what's the difference between me and the developer that's crooked down the road? That's my perspective. I might be wrong, but you may think no, but they're your NFTs, you can do what you want. But then they're not, because it's your dividends as an NFT holder. It's your money, it's not mine. My money is my company. My money is my company money. That money is yours. It's not mine.
Yeah, I kind of see exactly where you're coming from.
It works really well as a theory, because then you could actually hold NFTs that have been allocated to you. I know when I was trading crypto, it used to absolutely annoy me when the team was allocated tokens. It would be exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I used to hate it, so why would I do it to anybody else?
Well, come on, Ryan Reynolds.
I know. Let's go.
You know, honestly, he's been inspirational. He I don't know if it's is it on Netflix. I don't know if you get it in US or not, but there's a documentary about how he bought Wrexham Football Club.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen
And
it yet, but yeah,
amazing, absolutely amazing, and that's what inspired me to then go and invest into Dorking Wanderers, the football team, because they're in the same division. They're all competing against each other. It's genuinely an inspirational documentary. It's worth a watch. And the thing is, it's still being filmed. It's constantly ongoing. It's brilliant.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna check it out, Mr. Jin. And then you're saying, like, are you pretty much saying you have to figure out back up to earlier? Hold on one second. Like a spokesperson for Mr. Jin? Like who Mr. Jin would like you're Mr. Jin.
No.
What do you mean by that?
No, I mean, it's not about a spokesperson. You see, now this is it for you. For me personally, Mr. Jin's never been a person. Mr. Jin's always been an enigma. Nobody actually knows who Mr. Jin is. There's no face for Mr. Jin. It's a man with a type.
Yes.
Okay. But if I take the brand Mr. First of all, where would I like to place Mr. Jin? Would I like Mr. Jin at the motel, the hotel, the Plaza, the Savoy, the Ritz? Where would I like to see that bottle? And then based on that, who would I like to see holding it?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's the route for Mr. Jin. That would determine. It's not any one person. Don't get me. If I envision it as it sits at the top of the chain, I'm not going to say the people in the middle and the bottom can't enjoy Mr. Jin. Of course they can. But I'm not looking at a face or not a face. We don't know where we're going. I leave the creative part of the team to deal with their creations. Like I said, my job is to oversee and make sure that everyone is taken care of and everyone is doing their job properly. And whenever people need support, I'm there to support them. That's my role. It's a network to come up with people, to come up with ideas, to listen to the 10 things David says, and then act on maybe 5 of them, 6 of them. Because
David, do you hear this? David's gonna hit this replay and hear you.
I know you will. But the thing is, it's weird. I mean, I sit there. I talk to David for a long time, but one thing I find is some of the ideas. You see, it's weird because some of the ideas that David comes up with, instinctively you'd think you're crazy, but then when you actually sit down and stop and you actually think about what he's saying, he's not that. It's pretty. You kind of left exactly the story. You don't know what to. He's like, actually, that might work. You know that.
He's not as crazy, huh? He's just an artist. That's what it is. I want to tell JJ, if you have any more questions, feel free, ask them in the chat. We got Mr. Jin here. I feel like you might have another question or two. I can feel it. You got another one. Bring it on through. You're doing great, Mr. Jin. You're doing great. And I'll say you just launched these NFTs. You just started this whole process. And every single project that I've seen, or, I'm sure Chaka as well, like there's something always that happens. It's never going to just be extra smooth gliding. I mean, I know that's what we all wish for, but I mean, OpenSea, you weren't expecting that. That was the first wrench right there. But you were able to pivot and still take care of the people and deliver what you said you were going to do. And so that, I know, as an investor, I appreciate that, and everybody else that owns a Mr. Jin as well. But do you have anything, Chaka, you want to say?
Oh, that I'm pretty much the same as you. I mean, with everything that went on, you're still building, and then you're going back to Portugal for more meetings to build for, not only the brand, but for the community, for the people who actually bought an NFT. You're going and you're working for that. You take pride in your work, and it's showing and out of the way you're talking about this stuff. I mean, you got me pumped earlier talking about how you were getting this when you were talking, you were getting a little angry. I was like, yeah, okay, where are we going? Let's go.
Yeah, who did it? Who made him mad?
I was getting fired up.
Yeah, actually, 14th till the 17th is another date for everyone's books, diaries. The EU Hospitality and Restaurant Forum, again in Portugal, is going to be. It's going to be held there. We've been told that we should be there, and we're going to be there.
What was the date again? I'm sorry, I grabbed my notebook. I'm ready for this, Mr. Jin. We're good.
14th to the 17th.
Okay.
I don't know full details of who's going to be there and who's not. I have been given 2 particular names that I've been told that have been confirmed that are going to be there and I will be meeting. One is a company called the Restaurant Group. They own 400 high entity large restaurants across the UK. And the other one is Grosvenor Casinos.
Oh, nice.
I love casino. I think casinos are so much fun. I'm so glad you said casinos. I've been waiting for this one.
Yeah, so that's the next kind of couple of things that are in the pipeline.
That's a lot, Mr. Jin. That's a lot. And then you have this mixologist going on. Networking continues. You're here right now. I mean, I think you're making all the right moves. I do. I know we have some people here that have invested in a lot of Mr. Jin NFTs. And see, I'm glad that he's here and you answered every single question that everybody asked you. And I appreciate your honesty and everything. And you got the Vault Army in here. You see all these lightning bolts? They're so awesome. They love Mr. Jin. We love you. I think you're doing it. You're marketing I mean, we have that NFT mega space tomorrow. If we could get somebody out there to talk about the NFTs, that would be great. I think because we're going to have a lot of people out there. I'm going to be helping co-host it. So I won't be able to just bring it up. That would be kind of like a conflict, just a little bit. But I do want to make sure that maybe we can get somebody out there. That would be cool. What do you think?
Oh, looks like he froze a little bit.
Oh, you did freeze.
But that was a good look at this picture, though. That's a good freeze right there. When I freeze, I'm like, the eyes are all open and the other one's closed.
Too. Or I'm like, watch, somebody just did it right there. Oh, man. Oh, okay. He probably needs to go and have some time with his wife anyway. I think we grilled him enough today. I feel like the chat grilled him. We grilled him.
Yeah.
He sat through it. He didn't break a sweat. He's actually pretty pissed off to me. It looks like to me that, laws, he's over there. Think about how we feel. We're here. You know what I'm saying? But y'all, I think it's all going to pan out. It's all going to work out. We just got to get these NFTs out, and I get what he's doing with them. I understand. I think it's actually pretty cool. It was a pretty cool idea that he had using NFTs, Web3, using the blockchain to help his business, a Jin business.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure. I bet you his wife was like, "It's time to go unplug the internet." Boop.
Yeah, and you too. So you go hang out with your wife and everything, and I'm gonna go chill too. I actually have an X space, a vaulted one that I need to go check out. So thanks so much for coming on through, Chaka. I am so glad you're here in the space cabin, and it was nice having Mr. Jin. So all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Space Chick Crypto, and thanks for joining the Space Cabin. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.